Uh, Next topic is a special SOCO procedures. In case where the evidence gathered needs special processing due to significant or sensational cases, the specialist from the CL shall be requested. So, letter B is special SOCO procedures. First is in bombing cases, the EOD personnel should first clear the area prior to entry of SOCO team. The preliminary survey and crime scene processing shall be jointly conducted by EOD personnel, IOC, and SOCO team. All evidence collected must be pre-cleared by the EOD team prior to disposition. Number two is in suspected or reported chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear situations, the SOCO shall directly coordinate with the special rescue team of the BFP and other appropriate government agencies. Number three is in mass victim situation, the regional or district SOCO who has jurisdiction over the area in addition to the function shall act got in mass victim situation, the regional or district SOCO who has jurisdiction over the area, in addition to their function, shall act the forensic specialist needed to be deployed at the crime scene and relay the requirements to the PNP CL headquarters. Number four is the SOCO in coordination with IOC has motu proprio authority to direct all operating units involved in the police operation to submit their respective personnel for forensic examination, their service firearms for ballistic tests and other pieces of evidence involved to expedite the investigation of the case. Letter C is a police guidelines of processing of person present at the crime scene during post-incident situations. Number one is the processing, debriefing, and documentation of the following: victims, perpetrators, witnesses, and key participation in the incident. Number two is the venue of processing, debriefing, and documentation. Considering the instability of the situation, the safety of the responders, and the person found at the scene of crime, and the preservation of the place incident, the venue of processing. So letter D is a release of crime scene. Number one is the IOC shall decide on the release of the crime scene upon consultation with the SOCO team leader. He or she shall ensure that all pieces of potential evidence have been collected and appropriately documented. Any re-entry of IOC or other investigative units in the conduct scene after its release to the owner will require a search warrant issued by the court. And then number two is the IOC shall accomplish the IOC investigators CSI form before the cordon shall be lifted. So ito naman po yung investigator CSI form. So number three is the IOC or the COP shall turn over the crime scene to the owner of the property or where the crime scene is a public place to any local person in authority using the release of the crime scene form. Number four is the IOC shall accomplish and submit the investigator's report with all the required attachment to the COP within 2 days if practicable from the date of incident, and the CSI report shall be the first entry in the case folder of the investigation of the incident. So this is the form of release of the crime scene. Let's move to the topic regarding maintenance of police blotter, where I'm going to discuss two kinds of police blotter. The first is the blue blotter, which it contains daily registry of all crime incident reports, official summaries of arrests, and other significant events reported in the police station or unit. The second kind of police blotter is a pink blotter, which it contains daily registry of all crime incident reports involving the violence against women and children, trafficking in persons, and other gender-based violence such as those provided for, in PNP policies and Philippine laws. So, yan po ang pagkakaiba ng blue blotter at saka pink blotter. Letter B is blotter procedure. Crime incidents, arrests or events and activities shall be recorded in the blotter book by the DO. If the report is a crime incident as verified by the DI, he or she shall accomplish the incident record form using crime information reporting and analysis system, from which the entry in the blotter book shall be extracted from. If the incident falls under the jurisdiction of the Katarungang Pambarangay, it shall all be recorded but indicated in disposition as referred to the barangay. If the crime incident involves children in conflict with the law, always use AKA or alias when writing entries to blue blotter. This picture is an incident record form. Next topic is a judicial affidavit rule. This rule shall apply to all actions, proceedings, and incidents requiring the reception of evidence before the court in place of the direct testimonies of witnesses in order to reduce the time needed for completing their testimonies. A. Application of rule to criminal actions. This rule shall apply to all criminal action wherein the maximum impossible penalty does not exceed in 6 years. Letter B. Contents of judicial affidavit. Judicial affidavit shall be prepared in the language known to the witness, and if not in English or Filipino, accompanied by a translation in English or Filipino, and shall contain the necessary data information. Number 1, the name, age, residence, or business address, and the occupation of the witness. Number 2 is the name and address of the lawyer who conducts or supervises the examination of the witness and the place where the examination is being held. Number 3 is a statement that the witness is answering the questions asked of him/her fully conscious that he or she does so under oath, and that he or she may face criminal liability false testimony or perjury. So ito ang form ng judicial affidavit, preliminary statement at under oath. So number 4 is questions asked of the witness and his/her corresponding answers consecutively numbered. Number 4. Number 4 is a question asked of the witness and his/her corresponding answers consecutively numbered that A. Show the circumstances under which the witness acquired the facts upon which he or she testifies. And letter B. Elicit from him or her those facts which are relevant to the issues that the case present, and C is identify the attached documentary and object evidence and establish their authenticity in accordance with the rules of court. Number 5 is the signature of the witness over his or her printed name. And lastly, number 6 is a jurat or a proof that an oath was taken before an administering officer or a notary public. And letter C is a sworn attestation of the lawyer. So for the sworn attestation of the lawyer, the judicial affidavit shall contain a sworn attestation at the end, executed by the lawyer who conducted or supervised the examination of the witness, to the effect that he or she faithfully recorded or caused to be recorded the questions he or she asked and the corresponding answers that the witness gave. And number 2 is neither he or she nor any other person then present or assisting him or her quotes the witness regarding the latter's answers. So that's all my report. Thank you very much.